Welcome to Discograffiti, the podcast that gives Gen X music maniacs a chance to smell like teen spirit again by connecting with the brotherhood obsessed with rating the entire discography of every single artist and band that ever mattered. I'm your host, Dave Gebro, and with 3 new episodes each week, you're going to gain a comprehensive knowledge of an act's history and output in the time it takes to listen to one album. In this episode, we'll be turning our spray cans back on Bully's Alicia Bognanno as this one-woman scream machine takes a big leap forward on her new opus, Lucky For You, which, lucky for us, was released this past Friday, June 2nd on SubPop. In fact, we're celebrating the new release with an entire Bully Deep Dive week here at Discograffiti that for the first time ever will be entirely free to the public. Our Friday episodes are always free, but Monday and Wednesday are weekly Patreon treasures that typically explore weekly deep dive themes for all you eclectic music obsessives out there. Today's less outtakey than simply super cool digressions. And come Wednesday, we bring you a very special episode of Rock Cousteau, our Buried Treasure series, which celebrates Alicia's favorite album. And by her Satanic Majesty's request, it's the Breeders' 1990 masterpiece, Pod. Look, if you know, then you know. But if you don't, you're really in for a treat, because tonight's guest released her first single in nearly 3 years on February 15th, Lose You, featuring Soccer Mommy. It delivered. And then, even more exciting, this past Friday brought the release of her 4th LP, Lucky For You. And it's a doozy. She's going to be supporting Pixies along with Franz Ferdinand for some June dates during Leg 2 of the Pixies 2023 U.S. tour, as well as a flurry of dates on her own. Over the course of the next few minutes, Alicia fills us in on what she learned from Steve Albini, the importance of the Little Sampson pedal to her life, and whether or not she gives a rat's ass about Britpop music. After it ends and you want more, another way to dive even deeper is to get thee directly to the David PAJO series, which begins at episode 94. Not to mention the Pavement series and the Lou Barlow series, where I Gen X'd myself half to death from episodes 49 to 62, with the help of Lou himself and the incredible Bob Nastanovich. Also, episode 12 is PJ Harvey, and episode 18 is the Pixies. Those are crucial listening as far as how they relate to Bully. And then we'll see you on Wednesday, 6 a.m. Eastern Standard, as we celebrate Alicia's favorite record of all time. Please visit patreon.com/discograffiti and check out the deep dive as a music obsessive's way of life. Most seem to be choosing this path these days, and here's your chance finally to find out why. And away we go then.
I'm not sure how much of PJ Harvey's stuff was recorded at Electrical versus just with him elsewhere.
Oh man, I love the sound of that record. It sounds almost like, and this is probably going to come off like a negative thing, but almost like a rehearsal space jam practice. It has like an offhandedness about at least what feels like where the mics are placed. You would know a hell of a lot more than me about that kind of thing. It sounds like she wandered in and the mics happened to be on and they caught this legendary performance.
Yeah. So the 3rd record I recorded was at Pachyderm, and I'm pretty sure that's where Rid of Me was recorded, and In Utero by Nirvana. That was an extra plus. I'm a massive fan of his recordings, and it's just pretty cool to study under somebody who's dedicated to getting great tones from the source and sounds off the bat versus so many people who are recording in their computer these days and doing so much in post. It's cool to be able to learn the other way.
Was your first experience on a board, was it a Tascam 4-track?
Yes. I wish I remembered exactly which one it was, but it was so long ago.
When I think of a Tascam 4-track, actually the first person I think of is Lou Barlow from Sebeda. I love those machines. I don't think it's in a weird way been improved upon, except for the tape hiss, the perennial tape hiss. But You just turn your focus entirely to Little Sampson.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you want to talk a little bit about Little Sampson? I want to hear about Little Sampson.
Oh, I love Little Sampson. I would say if Bully was a tone, that would be it. It's just the best distortion. Nick Greer has his company, Greer Amps, and he makes guitar pedals. And it is just, this is going to sound so cringy that I'm saying this, but like so beefy. It is like a distortion that will not cut any range of the tone. Like it just sounds incredible. And it's like very thick and very full. And particularly it's really great for me because I'll write on bass too. Like I go back and forth between bass and guitar, and it sounds incredible with the bass. And that's really tricky for distortions because a lot of times it'll scoop the lows and accentuate the highs. And with Little Sampson, it keeps the whole body of it in there and just makes it so gritty. And it's just incredible. Like I was playing at practice the other day and I was letting my guitar player use my backup and I plugged it in and I was setting the knobs and stuff and she played it and she was like, what the fuck? And my bass player was like, every time I hear that pedal, it's crazy. But those actually aren't being made anymore. They kind of switched into this guitar pedal called the Black Mountain, and that is similar tone wise and circuitry wise, but that is kind of like the new version of the Little Sampson. So those you can't find, but you can find the Black Mountains. But everything he does, I'm just like, yeah, I'm really grateful that we found each other because it's just become such a huge part of my tone.
That's awesome. I picture like a rom-com with you and Little Sampson in it. I'm guessing it was the same thing for you as it was for me, where you think that everyone's going to think, what the fuck? She doesn't drink or he doesn't, I don't want to hang out with this person. Nobody gives a shit. You were the only person that gave a shit from the start. Yeah. That's what I was left with was, why was I thinking about this so long? Nobody cares.
God, yeah.
By the way, I just got an admonishing text. I have to wrap up quick because you have some other stuff going on today. So
I think they actually canceled that other interview. So I don't know. I told them I was down to talk as long as you want. I'm just double checking with my managers to see if they rescheduled.
Yeah, I don't want to get you in trouble.
I'm good to go as long as you want. So
okay, cool. The way that your record is described, I'm wondering if you would use the same terminology. So what does it say here? The 10-track album combines punk grit, crunchy shoegaze bliss, and an explosive Britpop bop. Are any of those actually incorrect?
I wouldn't use any of those to describe the record, but I also don't know how to describe records. Like, I feel like I'll never actually know how a record I write sounds. And everything I feel like I say, I just say like, oh, it's an alternative rock record. I leave the labeling up to others just because I feel very disconnected. And I never really have anything in the back of my mind as far as what I'm trying to sound like, but I will take that. Britpop is so funny to me. So many people have brought up Britpop.
That's like one where I'm like, I don't hear that.
I don't even really listen to any Britpop.
Right.
So I was like, that's so funny to me. I don't really know exactly what that means.
To be fair, that really is what I was asking you is, do you even like any Britpop? That really was the question.
No, I don't think so.